Now, the United States is worried about American user data falling into the hands of the Chinese government. To that end, the Senate Committee on Homeland Security held a hearing on Wednesday on social media being a threat to national security. And in the hot seat was TikTok. Now, the short-form video app repeatedly declined to commit to lawmakers that it will cut off flows of U.S. user data to China, leading to this exchange. Listen in.
Will TikTok commit to cutting off all data and meta flows to China, Chinese-based TikTok employees, ByteDance employees, or any other party located in China that might have the capability to access information on U.S. users?
What I can commit to is that our final agreement with the U.S. government will satisfy all national security concerns, yes.
You're telling me that China-based employees have never accessed non-public data of U.S. TikTok users?
I'm saying that there is strict access controls around the data that is accessed in the United States that is overseen by our U.S.-led security team. We are working with Oracle.
The question reflects bipartisan concerns in Washington that China could use personal information of Americans to either identify intelligence targets or to launch disinformation campaigns. TikTok does not operate in China, though it does have an office in the country. The U.S. concerns about TikTok were renewed after a report in June based on leaked audio of meetings said ByteDance, who owns TikTok, had accessed U.S. user data on multiple occasions. In reply to that report, TikTok had acknowledged that it was possible for individuals based in China to U.S. user data, but cybersecurity controls were overseen by its U.S.-based security team. Now, her testimony comes after a report claimed that searches about prominent news topics on TikTok are likely to turn up results riddled with misinformation. Executives from Meta, YouTube, and Twitter also testified, saying that their platforms work to root out misinformation and limit postings from extremist groups. Now, for more details on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent this report. Listen in.
A core theme emerged in back-to-back Senate committee meetings on Wednesday. Social media companies are optimizing for attention, and until and unless the government changes its rules, this pattern will continue. Members of the Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee seem to arrive at the same conclusion as they met with a group of former engineering executives of both Twitter and Meta. The hearing was intended to discuss the effect social media has on Homeland Security, and TikTok predictably did face the most scrutiny, with Senator Mitt Romney at one point saying that it is, quote, a huge risk to allow an authoritarian regime to have a social media capability of the scale they have in our country. Of course, he was referring to China. But for U.S.-based social media platforms, it seemed the group did hone in on what is called the Platform Accountability and Transparency Act, also known as PATA, as a potential remedy. And what would happen is it would require digital communication platforms such as Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook to comply with university researchers when they request data approved by the National Science Foundation. And then if they don't comply, then they would face a number of gross penalties. Ultimately, it seems promising considering the fact that it does enjoy bipartisan support, despite the fact that the legislative days right now are numbered up until the midterm elections. And ultimately, it's safe to say that the real challenge will be TikTok. Critics argue that its Chinese ownership puts U.S. users at risk. TikTok is under scrutiny by a number of governmental bodies, including the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.